Well, hey there, this is Mrs. Sharp, and we're going to do some mole conversion problems together to get you ready for 5.5 tomorrow. So I have two example problems. Here we go. First problem says how many formula units are in 42.9 grams of lithium hydroxide. So, if I'm looking at my master plan, which looks like this, and I know that I have 42.9 grams. I know that I'm starting here, and I should be ending here. So that should be a 2-step problem, starting with 42.9 grams. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my two conversion factors there, since I know I have 2 steps. Always start with your given value in the problem, correct units. Since I'm starting with mass, the first conversion factor I'm going to use is going to be the conversion factor that is above that step, which is 1 mole equals X grams, or what's known as your molar mass of the compound. So I can put 1 mole and X grams in there. I'm going to put my grams on the bottom so that those two will cancel, and 1 mole in the top. And I can't put X grams, I need to know how many grams are in 1 mole of lithium hydroxide. So this is where I figure out my molar mass. So lithium hydroxide's formula is LiOH. So that would be 1 lithium, whose molar mass is 6.94, 1 oxygen, whose mass is 16.00, and 1 hydrogen, whose mass is 1.01. And if I were to take that total, 6.94 plus 16 plus 1.01, altogether that would be 23.95 grams per mole. So 23.95 is how many grams in 1 mole. So there's that conversion factor, and our grams would cancel. So if I were to stop right now, I would be finding the number of moles right here in the middle. But I wanted to get to formula units. So the next conversion factor I would need to use is Avogadro's number. 1 mole equals 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd of anything, in this case formula units. So my 1 mole this time, I'm going to take that and put it on the bottom. And my 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd formula units will go on top, and there's no math done for that one because that doesn't change depending on the substance. So my moles would cancel, and my formula units are what remain. So that tells me that I've set up my problem correctly. So I'm going to take in my calculator 42.9 divided by 23.95, and for that I'm getting 1.79ish. And then I'm going to multiply that number by 6.02 E23, or 6.02 times 10 to the 23rd. And when I do that, I get 1.08 times 10 to the 24th formula units. And that's a lot of formula units, but that makes sense because I have well more than a mole of lithium hydroxide, so I should have more than a mole's worth of formula units. So let's move on to our next example problem, and that says how many grams are contained in 0.27 moles of calcium sulfate. So this time, if I look at my master plan, this is formula units, and this is mass. I am going from 0.27 moles to mass. So this is just a 1-step problem, and one that I need my molar mass for. 1 mole equals X grams. So I'm always going to start with my given, which is 0.27 moles. And I said it's a 1-step. So in this one conversion factor, 1 mole would go on the bottom, and X grams would go on the top. And that's just so your moles can cancel. Well, I need again to figure out what X is, so I'm going to take calcium sulfate and figure out the molar mass. calcium is 40.08, and there's one of them. Sulfur is 32.07, and there's one of them. And oxygen is 16, and there's 4 of them. So adding that all up, 16 times 4 is 64, plus 32.07, plus 40.08 gives me 136.15 grams per mole. So in this spot, 136.15 grams per 1 mole. So since that is the unit that I'm after, I am ready to calculate. So I multiply 0.27 by 136.15. I am getting 36.76 grams as my answer. So just remember to use your master plan, use your conversion factors. Don't change anything about the conversion factors. So don't change that this is 1 mole, just place them in the right spots. And then of course if you have an X, you got to figure out what that X is in your molar mass. So I hope that gets you ready for 5-5. I will see you tomorrow.